You are listening to It's Midnight Somewhere with DJs Mistress McCutcheon and The Wasteland.
It's midnight somewhere. It's midnight. It's midnight somewhere. It's midnight.
Hi, this is Mistress McCutcheon, and I am here, but not exactly here, with my DJ partner, The Wasteland, in that we're experiencing these very interesting and trying times, just like everybody else, and we are recording from the safety of our own homes.
Which is, just our kind of luck to launch a podcast and then immediately have to go into a lockdown.
Yeah, we haven't been in the same room in... I don't know how many weeks we were in now at this point. Yeah, it's been months since we've been in the same room. By the time this podcast goes out, I am not sure how many weeks deep we'll be. But yeah, I mean, it's been very weird because this sort of event is creating a lot of different types in people, where people either feel like they need to make really good use of their time and are constantly producing and creating and go, and keeping themselves busy, while other people are just kind of hanging back and kind of taking it easier and a lot more chill.
Yeah, no, I think I'm splitting my time between the two.
Yeah, some of us are working from home. Some people have been laid off. Some people are cooped up with a house of kids. Some people are solitary. Some people are partnered. Divorce Watch 2020 will be a very real thing as people discover they really don't like their partners.
And then the impending baby boom. The impending baby boom that will probably only be please. Firstborns. Well, think about it. If you're locked up with your kids all day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're all processing this trauma and whatever is going on, and every day is a little different, and we're getting a lot of different news every day. The rules are changing a little bit. Nobody quite knows when the end is in sight. People are wondering when things are going to be reopening. Rollout plans are coming together for various provinces and states. Don't watch American news because it's horrifying.
Oh, but I mean, one of the good things that's coming out of this is I think we're seeing a lot of innovation with how people are trying to establish community while apart. And I think we're seeing a lot of people coming together. Honestly, it's weird how we almost didn't come together until we were forced apart.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of exciting in that aspect, in that this weekend was really busy because over the past weekend, I was able to tune into a show, live stream DJs here in Toronto, but then I've also tuned in to check out what's going on back in Brooklyn. And I've also seen some DJs in Germany, in Boston, in Chicago. It's very freeing in that I can listen to what a lot of other people are doing, what kind of music has been played, and that I think has been a massive saving grace for me is music.
Yeah, I mean, I myself, I tuned in, I think, to some of the same streams as you for local here in Toronto, and then the Dark Side of the Con ran a web event. So, I originally had tickets to go to that, and I got to go to that, sorta. And we were in a chat. We were like, people are sitting there talking about the show and all with Klaus from Leatherstrip.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so it was, it was well attended, I think. I mean, I don't see the actual logins, but there was a lot of people in the chat, and it was good. It was good to see acts I've seen before and acts I haven't.
Yeah, and this very unique kind of view in that, bands who have been quarantined together, folks who are living together, who are able to perform, and the different variety of shows that have been available, from music to, bands playing, DJs doing live streams, drag shows, burlesque shows, dance performances. There have been a lot of belly dancers who are coming together to produce shows and kind of comparing notes on what technology is working, what's not. Because what I've found is DJing over Zoom is kind of crappy because the music doesn't sound as good. It sounds like you're underwater, but you can see people's faces, which is kind of exciting because then you can interact with everybody and say, oh, hey, this person's here. DJing Contempt, this big New York reunion, it was really cool because I could see people dancing in their bedrooms or bobbing their heads as they were going, and people are drinking and chatting, and it felt really good. Music quality was not so great on Zoom, but I prefer Twitch over Zoom, and we've been doing Prophecy over Twitch. So because then we've learned, Facebook, if they catch the algorithm where it's copywritten music, they're gonna mute it, and then that gets really annoying. Same thing with YouTube; things get muted, so it makes it more challenging. But otherwise, the learning curve has been very steep. But it's adapt or die.
Yeah. Yeah. One of the interesting things I heard in doing the Dark Side of the Con was Stoneburner played, which is Stephen Archer, Ego Likeness, his more, I guess, well-known project. And he actually said at one point, he's in a room by himself and he's on camera and he's doing his thing. And he's like, I want to thank my drummer who you can't see because she's in her own place 10 miles away. So somehow he figured out how to get her drums to play on his sound remotely and then put all of that out into Twitch and Facebook Live. And they also streamed on YouTube. So, like I said, there's a lot going on, and a lot of people are developing. Either maybe it's new skills, and maybe some of them already knew this, but it's really cool to see people pulling it together and making things happen. So that, again, like I said, they're bringing things together for people who are all completely separate.
Yeah, because the Gothicat festival, the European festival that had a bunch of bands that were either providing some exclusive video or had created video for that online festival. Then Come Silence, the band based out of Sweden, they just put out a new album in March. But one of the highlights was they did a split screen of all the musicians and the vocalist, and they did a cover of Susan the Banshee's Christine that was really, really good. If you can find that on YouTube, it's a gem. It's really well done.
I'm going to have to look that up.
Yeah. So people are definitely pioneering this new space of how we're doing these live streams and how you can tap in to what's happening virtually right now. And in that real time, being able to interact with people.
Yeah. We have the Prophecy Twitch channel, and I created a separate ID for myself on my phone, so I'll be able to chat with people in the next event without having to disturb my computer.
Yeah. I've got my DJ laptop going, and then I've got my other laptop, my smaller one, so that I can chat and interact and all that kind of stuff. And it's been a lot of fun because it's definitely unique in that when I'm DJing, I'm in a box and left alone. Like people want to come up and say something to me, or they want to request a song or whatever. Usually I can't talk to people because number one, I can't hear you. Number two, I'm working, so I can't really interact with you. So this is a whole different thing. It's like we can actually talk while I'm working, and I can interact with you and still be DJing, and I can hear you fine, and I can tell what's going on, and it's fun. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, but the one thing you can't tell is reaction to a song. Like you can't, since we're on Twitch, we don't see anybody. So you don't have that head bobbing or, does this one fill the dance floor for everybody, right? You don't know where people are at in that real-time body language.
Yeah, that definitely makes a difference.
And that's an interesting thing, like I did the remix benefit night the other night, and it was literally me, the other DJ, a sound guy, and the bar owner in a full club. Like the club was empty. There were 4 people in it. It was weird.
Yeah, and remix has a capacity of like 200. I think.
I 200, maybe 250, 300. I'm not sure. It looks a lot bigger, I guess, when it's empty.
Yeah, it's a sizable club, so.
Still, when you've only got 4 people in there and, the volume's not cranked up all the way because your output is through the computer. So you just put your output up, and we had a PA in there, but it was just basically loud enough for us to hear it as a monitor.
Yeah.
And it was a completely different thing. Like, I'm standing there on the stage with all these lights on me, and it's just the owner of the bar kind of leaning against the counter, messaging on his phone. I was just like, okay, that's okay.
Yeah, the only reactions out of Twitch is if somebody is asking something or requesting something or being sassy, because somebody was being sassy and was like, so, when Cities and Dust coming on, and of course, I'm going to make a face. So,
gots are never sassy.
Never. Oh my God. Never.
Never.
I have no idea what you're talking about. So one of the things I've been mindful of while DJing is not to lip sync while spinning, because there's a slight lag going on. So it gets really awkward, because if the music and the lip syncing, it'll just be that just little hair off. And then it gets a little funny and weird because people will be able to see it.
Yeah.
But
and even like bouncing in time, like me, I know I've been accused of being dead-eyed and staring at my computer, but like I'm really focused on what I'm doing. But I like to do the like fist bump thing, not like over my head, like in front of me, like and
because you're not a douchebag.
No, yeah, I don't, yeah, I am a quote unquote dead-eyed staring at the computer.
Right.
But that's because I'm working.
Well, that's what happens when you're working, is that you're paying attention to what you're doing, and you're trying to create a mood and create a flow to things. And if you're dealing with beat matching and making sure that this and this are flowing together, or if you're going to experiment and do something a little funky, then you need to be present in what you're doing. You didn't just put a song on and walk away, because you're not a jukebox either. So that's a whole other thing.
I actually had a couple of people message me to say, it's actually interesting to see you work that up close, because you were just so focused. It's not that you're just standing there. It's like, you're like constantly, I was being told that, you've worked with me, you know how I work. And for other people, they don't see that, because they're out on a dance floor or whatever,
Well, that's just it. I mean, people don't know. They don't know until they're behind the scenes that, this is why, because it's the same thing. There's all these photographs of me DJing, and when I'm in it, like, I look dead fucking serious because I'm concentrating. Mm-hmm. So that doesn't mean I'm not having fun. It just means that I'm focused on what I'm doing. So I am not worrying about posing for your fucking picture. I'm just doing my job.
Yeah.
Although my outfits are always, on point. So, of course, you should be taking my picture, because I need to document this shit.
Yeah, because you forget.
I don't document anything. I'm a terrible selfie taker.
And the only one worse than taking photos than you is me, so.
Well, then again, the whole documentation thing, it's like, well, if you're not there, then you missed it. Too bad. Yeah. So, because that's another issue, is archiving sets. Because people are asking, oh, well, if you don't catch the live stream, can you archive it and catch it later? And the thing with using these various platforms is that recordings are not getting archived. They're going to get dumped because of copyright issues and stuff like that. So there's no place to archive it. So, I mean, that's why I end up doing stuff on Mixcloud, so that there's Mixcloud stuff where I've purposely chosen and mix things to create a mood and to give people something to listen to on demand whenever they want. And then a live event is a live event.
Yeah. I mean, I usually record all my sets, and generally speaking, at the end of an event, I'll pick one and put it up, because there should always be a reason to come out. So, you're not, if I put it all up there, why come out if you could listen to it for free at home?
Exactly.
So what are you listening to at this point? Like, have you been taking the time to find new music? I know you have. Just, it's a loaded question.
I am always looking for new music. I am a voracious consumer of music. And it's funny because in the before times, I really like shopping. I'm that girl. Like, I like browsing. I like looking at clothes. I love shopping for makeup. You know, Sephora has made so much money off of me. It's stupid. But, I don't do any of that anymore because I don't leave the house. So because I don't leave the house, there's 3 expenses that I really have to deal with. It's food, my cats, because I got to have litter and food for them, and I buy music. And it's been really interesting listening to what other DJs are playing and going, oh, I don't know that. What is that? And some of the stuff that DJs have been playing are things that have gotten me in the nostalgia feels hardcore, because I'm like, oh my God, I have not heard that song in a really long time. And that's making me super happy. And, it's so moving, and it's nourishing, because I'm also, one of the things that I am not doing is I'm not a stress eater or a comfort eater. But music is nourishing the shit out of me, because it's just giving me life to hear, oh, okay, I remember when this song was new. I remember when that video came out. I remember when, oh my God, that album came out 30 years ago, because someone had posted about Disintegration, The Cure's 8th studio album, which came out in 1989.
Wow.
I remember. God. I remember when that was new. I was a teenager. Just before I was going into high school when that album came out, and I was like, "Oh man, that was over 30 years ago." So there's a lot of that I've been revisiting, which has been really cool. And again, I will never claim to know everything about music, and if you can introduce me to some old stuff that is of the ilk that I am looking for, that I missed, I want to totally know about it. And there's some of that I've been digging into, which has been really cool. And then there's other stuff that's new, because everybody's been putting out stuff. There's a lot of artists who, because they're at home and they need the support and they want to keep creating, they're putting stuff out. So it's like, oh, okay, this is cool that there's this, and this that's out. Rose Garden Funeral Party put out a new single fairly recently. Andy Sex Gang covered some Iggy Pop recently, because at one point he was sending me some memes and we were telling jokes back and forth, and I was like, I think Andy's really bored. And then all of a sudden he puts out I'm Bored, the cover by Iggy Pop, and I'm like, yeah, Andy's bored, all right, he's looking for stuff to do. So because if you're just kind of stuck, then make use of your time, take a nap, have a beer, and then go make some music. That sounds like a good plan to me.
Sounds like a good day.
Yeah, as long as you're staying sane and safe, it's not a bad thing at all. So there's been a lot of old stuff that I've been revisiting, and then the newer stuff. There's a pre-order for a Leathers shirt, which, oh my God, Shannon, please, I cannot wait for a Leathers album.
Please, God. That album needs to get made. Like, seriously.
We're dying to hear it.
Yeah.
Because if you haven't heard the 3 singles that Leathers has put out, and Leathers again is Shannon of Actors, it's fucking fantastic. And I saw the shirt and I was like, oh my God, Jay, have you seen this? So there's a shirt on pre-order for that for Leathers. There's a bunch of little of newer albums that are out that it's like, oh, okay, cool. This looks good. This looks good. She Passed Away is putting out a remix album. They released a single from that is the Soft Moons remix of Ritual.
Yep.
By She Passed Away. This may be an unpopular opinion, but I think Soft Moon is probably better at the remixes than their actual music. Not sorry, but I think the Soft Moon cover of She Passed Away is fucking excellent. But I might almost like their remixing more than the Soft Moon.
I mean...
And that might get me shot, but whatevs.
It makes sense that you would think that, because you're not always a fan of super crunchy, noisy stuff, and there's a lot of guitar in Soft Moon, so it almost comes across as, like, metally. And that's not your thing.
Well, there's a couple bands that do that really crunchy, hazy feedback. A Place to Bury Strangers does that as well. But what will always be near and dear to my heart in that variety of music is Jesus and Mary Chain.
Okay.
So
yeah.
That's where my taste lies. Oh, the other band that is working on a new album, super excited about this as well, is Afet Robot.
Yeah.
The Turkish darkwave band that
we talked about a couple episodes ago.
That we've talked about. Yeah. So that's really cool to see. Yeah, there's a bunch of new things that are popping around.
Youth Code just released a new single a couple weeks ago now. My sense of time is gone. But yeah, that's the lead single off of a forthcoming album, it looked like. So that's cool. There's been a lot. Like you said, a lot of people are just sitting home bored. So they're just, the ones who can are making music. Oh, Daniel Meyer just put out a new album under his Rendered imprint.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a new EP rather. It's called The End of the World. So it's kind of aptly titled.
Yeah. I hope this is not the end of the world. That would be very depressing.
It would be.
I still want to, I am looking forward to getting on the other side of this, going out dancing again. As someone had posted in an Instagram post, how they missed the suspiciously sticky dance floors. I'm like, me too. I want to go to those bars. So some dancing needs to happen. It's going to take quite some time before live concerts make a comeback because of how the volume of people.
Yeah.
After thinking about everybody that was going on tour this year, and now all of it cancel. It's such a drag.
A lot of it's canceled. Some of it's postponed. If you're lucky, it's postponed.
Some of it's been rescheduled. Yeah. I'm really disappointed that Neubauten has canceled, but their new single, 10 Grand Goldie, is really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw that video the other day. The video is really cool. I really got into it. It is sad that they're canceled, but again, it makes sense. It makes sense because it's so much more expensive to come across to North America. You gotta pull the plug rather than try to postpone because you never know if the tour is going to shake out the same way, and that could screw everything up. Yeah,
the Deck and Dance shows just passed. Those dates were all canceled, or they say postponed. I don't know when that's going to be rescheduled for. So that's a drag too, because I know a lot of us had tickets to Deck and Dance, and after seeing them several years back here in Toronto, they were amazing. It's always one of those shows that the first few notes will start playing and you'll just have tears in your eyes because it's so beautiful. So I'm really looking forward to that. We should drop some tracks in here that we're super excited about. That's what's giving us life.
All right.
Because we're drinking from the fire hose right now. There is so much music to listen to and absorb that I'm just trying to take these things into consideration and go, oh, okay, I want to spend some time listening to this. I want to spend some time listening to this. What in particular would you like to drop in for our listeners so that they can also help us unload this fire hose of music that is coming?
Well, if it's my pick, I'm gonna go with one that actually you sent me a preview of, and it's an album I had pre-ordered that finally came out this past week. It's like a French electro dark synthwavy act called, I'm gonna screw this up, Maman Kustus. I don't know if you remember sending that one to me.
Okay. Again, there's so much I can't remember. I can barely remember what day it is. Let's pick a track here that we can at least start sharing some of this with our listeners. Jay, what would you suggest? What track number was that?
It's track 11. My German is terrible, and I know you've been studying, so I'm going to ask you to go with it.
Sure. This CD is by Maman Kustus. The album is called L'Ecstasy et la Terre. And the track is called Liebe hat keine Preis. Love has no price.
All right. So what are you excited about? What would you want everybody to hear if you had to put one track out for them?
A highlight track for me that I cannot get enough of. I think I've been playing it enough in the house that Justin's like, are we still listening to the same song? And I'm like, yes, because I'm really loving this band. This was actually a recommendation that came to me from our friend Kevin Matthews, who's of Transmission Boutique Records in London. And the band is called Walt Disco. They're based out of Glasgow, Scotland. And they're sort of this like androgynous post-punk glam with these very crooning Bowie-influenced vocals. And the song that I am crazy about that also has this beautiful video to it that'll just get you in the feels. It's called Past Tense.
There's no way of knowing if it was right to love. Stuck in the middle of nowhere. your hand in love, my friend. All those mistakes that we'll retrace are long to make my heart still and there's no knowing if it was right to end. Stuck in the middle of nowhere. This is no way of living in past without you, my friend. I crave to see you with another man. I can love you, may you understand. With face to face to face to face, please take my word. My heart will and there's no way if it was right to end. Stuck in the middle of nowhere. This is no way of living in past without you, my friend. And there's no way of knowing if it was right to end. Stuck in the middle of nowhere. This is no way of living in past without you, my friend.
Jay, when we actually get on the other side of this, what are the 3 things that you are looking forward to do?
Oh God, only 3. First of all, I really would like to just get out and see people again. Like everybody's saying, oh, I want to go out and dance and hug all my friends. I'm not a huggy person. I just want to hang out with people. It could be a club, it could be a live show. It could be, I don't care if we're just hanging out on a corner in front of a like greasy spoon type place. Just get out and be around folk again.
Yeah.
Right? After that, I think honestly, there's part of me that wants to go back to work. Like I'm one of the people who's been laid off for, temporarily during this. And that's, that it's kind of limited my interactions. There's only so much you can do around the house before you're just like, okay, now what? So I'm going to be that one weirdo that's like, I want to go back to work. But I mean, I don't want to go back to work to the point where it's I want to endanger people. Like, I want to go back to work in a responsible way.
Oh, absolutely. I thank our lucky stars that we're here in Canada and not in the US, because what's happening in the US is scary. And I make sure to check in with friends and family all the time just to make sure that they're staying safe and sane.
Yep.
Because the idea that they want to roll out, okay, well, let's just have people do whatever they want. It's funny because I just got off a phone call with my brother who is in Hawaii, and he was saying that people are out and about doing their business like nothing's different. And it's infuriating because he and his partner have been staying put at home as much as possible.
Yeah.
So it's kind of worrying that some people are following rules, some people aren't following the rules. But the problem is you can't have a peeing section in the pool. Like, it has to be all or nothing.
Yeah, and there's just some people in power aren't understanding that and aren't understanding what that does to the people around them. Like, I was talking with a friend in Florida, and Florida, everybody knows Florida is like an epicenter right now. It's Florida. It's bad, but it's not locked down. And I was reading an article earlier about Texas going back to normal, in phases starting Friday.
Yeah.
And Texas is the second most populated U.S. state. So
yeah,
that's a thing.
It's worrisome. It's definitely worrisome. I have been working through this whole time. I am grateful to be employed and have been working from home since March 12th. And so things are normal in that I still got a lot of stuff to do, and I'm still taking care of things and going to meetings, rolling out of bed, turning on a WebEx meeting and getting to it. And in addition to doing all the creative things I want to do, because people who are like, oh, I want to do this and I'm spending my time doing this. I'm like, well, good for you that you get creative time. I don't, because I still got to work.
Yeah.
So the work part is work, but I have not left my house. My highlight is going to take out the trash. That is about as far as I go. And the reason being that I'm scared, to be blatantly honest, because the last time I left the house, which was well over a week ago, to go to the post office, it was scary because I'm finding that people are really aggressive. Mm-hmm. I'm finding some homeless people are really aggressive. Mm-hmm. And some people are just no fucks to give at all.
Yep.
And I had a guy make a beeline for me and give me a lot of shit. And I was afraid because I was like, am I going to get attacked here or what? Because I'm all covered. My face is covered, sunglasses on, winter coat, my hat on, all that stuff. And I don't know if I'm already sick. I could be an asymptomatic carrier. I have to behave that way when I'm out in public.
Right.
And yet people are coming too close. And I'm like, that's terrifying to me right now. And I mean, I'm not a feely, touchy person either, but I'm definitely a people person. But this is totally like turned the way I behave on its head because I'm afraid for somebody to come at me physically and to harass me or to attack me. So because of that fear, I definitely don't want to leave the house. And yeah, I mean, and things have been fine at home. For people who think that they're trapped at home, I think it's terrible. Your home should be your sanctuary. You're not stuck at home. You're safe at home.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's their point of view. The point of view is different. And it's glass half empty, glass half full. It depends on how people are looking at it. I have a friend who works from home normally, and she's like, the lockdown happened and my life didn't really change. So great for her. I mean, for me, it completely upends everything. But I think I don't have that same level of fear that you do in going out because I'm bigger and a dude and, and I'll put on headphones with terrible isolation and blast metal and then people just leave me the hell alone. And it's kind of cool and it's kind of great. But at the same time, it's, I don't always want to do that. But that's what I found works to keep people away from me.
Yeah. Yeah, people were not staying far away enough, which was really disturbing to me. So that kind of turned me off, and I was like, okay, well, that's fine. I can stay in my house. What I am looking forward to on the other side of this is, yes, just simple hangouts with friends. Being able to have friends come over, sit on my patio and have a beer is
That's what I want to do.
Wonderful.
I want to sit on your patio with a beer and you know, a good collection of people maybe.
Yeah.
You know?
And I mean, spring has been really cold here this year, and I'm tired of being cold because I feel like I'm cold all the time. I started baking just like everybody else, just so that there was warmth in the house. Because my fingers are frozen, my toes are frozen. I'm tired of being cold. So I'm waiting for warm weather because I need some sunshine and I need some warmth.
Yeah.
Maybe that makes me a terrible goth, but whatever. So on the other side, I cannot wait to go to the RMT. When I can go to my RMT and get a massage is going to be lovely.
Okay.
So that's something that's high on my list. Is I cannot wait. I think all the stress is in my shoulders, and I crunch up and sleep funny, so my shoulders always hurt. So I cannot wait to like go to the RMT and have her just like, she's like a mallet. She's just gonna like mash all the crapola out of me, and then I'm just gonna be like, ah.
Is she good?
Yeah.
Because
brilliant.
I've perpetually, I have been told that I don't have back muscles. I have a back muscle. It's all just congealed into one form. And it holds me up. So a good RMT, maybe I would go for that too.
Yeah, I can't. I want the RMT, and just simple hangouts are going to be awesome to just have honest to goodness face-to-face time.
I'm not even going to say the live show thing because, like you said, that could be a ways off. You know, some people are saying it could be a year or two, and that sucks. And it really sucks for the artists. So, you know, that's why I think it's really important that people buy music. That's why we're here, right? Like on this podcast, we're trying to get people to find new music and hopefully throw down a couple of bucks.
Yeah. And, you know, you want to talk about music, I'm here. Like, absolutely. You want to talk about what are you listening to and what did you get and blah, blah, blah. Like, there was a group that I recently joined on Facebook, and the conversations about music have been, again, they're just lifesavers. Because somebody was talking about Coil, and I was like, here we go. One of your Desert Island albums is Coil's Horse Rotivator? Okay, I like you already. And then I started talking about, because I recently acquired Gold is the Metal on vinyl, and then we started talking about Coil, and I'm like, we can have a conversation about Coil. What else do you want to talk about, like, musically? Like, have you heard this? What about this? You got a recommendation? I love when my friends give me recommendations, because, again, Kevin has really good taste. He'll tell me what's going on in the UK and be like, have you heard this? And have you heard this? Because certain things have taken some time to come over.
Yeah.
So getting on that bandwagon a little early is kind of nice, and go, is this what's being played over there? Okay, that's really cool. Because that, and then kind of digging around on Bandcamp and seeing, okay, well, what's new there? Because I get flooded with emails that like, because you bought this, you might want this. So
the emails and the push notifications. I'll be honest, I have checked every single one of them recently because I'm just like sitting here. If I'm not talking to anybody or if I'm not like messing around trying to put together a set list, I'm probably just playing a video game, and then I get a push notification. It's like, pause. What's this? So this is the time. This is the time. Just hit me with those push notifications.
Oh, absolutely. We're a captive audience.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because I don't want to use captive because that goes back to that negative thing. We're an isolated audience. But
I'm ready. I'm ready to. Well, if I have to see one more Joy Division meme about this fucking crisis and see anything about isolation, yes, the face you are making right now with the eyeballs rolling back is appropriate. Because it's like, okay, that joke. Can we move on now?
Yeah.
So
yeah, we've made that before. Thank you.
can't be a one-trick pony and only have one joke. It's like, yes, we know about Joy Division. That's fine.
Yes.
Let's move on.
Yes.
There's other stuff. But
Yes.
everybody who's doing a quarantine release, a pandemic project. But it's funny, too, because, again, tuning into what the DJs in Boston are doing, DJ Arcanis, it's Tony and Juliet who put together Convergence last year. We're doing a live stream, and they're spinning a Contravoid remix of Static Bloom, which I was like, oh, Jay, do you know about this? And you're like, oh, yeah, I pre-ordered that. And I was like, oh, okay. So... But because I always think about like what other people are going to like, and then if there's recommendations I can make or other people's tastes that I like, that I'm like, oh, what are you listening to? What do you got? What about this? Like we could do this all day, and it's wonderful.
Yeah. I mean, of course I pre-ordered that. I pre-ordered the Static Bloom album. I have the vinyl on the limited edition white. So, of course I pre-ordered the remix album. What else am I doing? Gotta use those Justin bucks somehow.
The Justin bucks. For American listeners who don't know what that means, there's a program, there's the Canadian Emergency Relief, what's the B stand for? CERB.
Benefit.
Oh, it's benefit. So the Canadian Emergency Relief Benefits, otherwise known as CERB, is also being called Justin Bucks because Justin Trudeau is giving the unemployed a bump of $2,000 a month so that people aren't going to be choosing between buying food and paying rent and all this other nonsense that's going on. If there hasn't been a stronger case for a universal basic income that comes out of this, then I don't know what we're doing. So
yeah, I mean, this is really like a lot of things people were pushing for in various areas of social progressivism are being proven to be needed.
Yeah.
And basic income, universal basic income is definitely one of them. But let's not get into the politics of it because, that's not what we're here for.
We're going to use up the whole internet talking about that side of it. So,
yeah.
But we're here tonight specifically to talk about music and how it is the lifesaver that we all need right now.
Yeah.
So, since we are here to talk about music tonight and not get into the political side, what other track would you like to share with the listeners at this point?
There's another band that I really, really, really like. I'm sure some of our listeners probably already know them. It's a band called Empathy Test. They are doing another album called Monsters, and they released the title track as a single. It is Name Your Price on Bandcamp right now, so you only have to pay for it if you want it mobile, which is I pay for everything because I that's why I listen to most of my music is on my phone or if I'm DJing. So I'd like to lead off with that.
So the additional track I'd like to share is actually a mashup that I had gotten a bunch of ideas and I wanted to put these two songs together and kind of mess about with them. And with the help of my producer, who is far more technically savvy with the DAW than I am at this point, although I hope to get there in regards to learning how to better control things so that I can sketch out my ideas as far as like how I want to remix and how I want to do mashups, is I took two songs that are from the early 80s, I believe they both came out about 1982. One of them is by this really odd band that was sort of a band that wasn't a band. It was these two models that were the vocalists and a musician who put together all this funky sort of world beat stuff. The name of the band is called Sada Bonaire. It is this weird little minimal synthy sort of act that was from the 80s. The big single that they had, well, the big single that is now sort of this cult gem is called You Could Be More Than You Are. That is mashed up with a certain ratio's touch. So I'm going to put that on for you guys.
And that wraps it up for this episode. If you enjoy what you're hearing, please like, subscribe, and share. If you'd be so kind to rate us and write a review on iTunes and the like, it helps our show get out there. You can also reach out with comments and feedback via our Facebook page or via It's Midnight Somewhere podcast, all one word, @gmail.com. As always, like to thank Marion Green for all of our visuals and art. We're currently have our artwork on 4x4-inch vinyl stickers available for purchase at morbidoutlook.com/sticker. All prices are in Canadian dollars, and that includes shipping across Canada and US. Funds from sales are helping us with costs for producing the podcast. We also have to thank Robyn Bright of Cockatoo for our theme music. Do check out her band at cockatoocockatoo.bandcamp.com. And our producer, Justin Minister.
You can follow our Facebook page for more information about Prophecy and check us out at twitch.tv/prophecy_online. Until next time.
It's midnight, summer. It's midnight. It's midnight, somewhere. It's midnight.
This podcast was almost called Fuck Eldridge. Because really.